Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show part 3. Hopefully our connection will rebooted router 50 megabytes up and 50 megabytes down and with fiber to the home. So doubt it's my connection. Could be a bad router going or it's an attack. So we'll see how lucky we are now. But we got a great connection right now. It's telling me green all the way. Again, this is the third. The first one we went over, we talked to Bob about the Federal Reserve, have gold, what that means to the Federal Reserve, what it's going to mean to restructure it, and how you can protect yourself with getting out of the Silicon Valley stocks, get into what he called the middle of the country, flyover country stocks, get into commodities, get into maybe cryptocurrency backed by commodities. Those are the type of things that he helps with his momentum trading at tradegenius.co. So the second thing that we went over was we started going over SB2. So we're halfway through SB2. So if you want the first part of this decode, go through that. I'll try to summarize it real quick so you don't have to go back for those of you who are starting with this part 3. So let's dig into this. There was a really cool, the reason I named this, I don't want to go over it for the third time, but if you decode the tweet today from 7:06 from Trump, some of the anons decoded that into these numbers of 44, 21, and 55, which is the 55th actual drop by Q all the way back on November 2nd of 2017. And it basically talked about, what did it say? Look to Twitter, which we just did, right? Here on 27th of December. It says exactly this. Quote, "My fellow Americans, the storm is among us. God bless." That was back way on the 55th drop on November 2nd, 2008. So that's kind of exciting. And then we were going over the right here, we were just ended here on the SB2 decode. And just to summarize the rest of this, it was just talking about, we're talking about the Trump effect and the reason POTUS tweeted "poor me." And if you look through here, as you know, he got attacked for saying "poor me." And if you look at this, the reason that he actually pulled out of going to the cemetery in France is because of a threat of the Viva la Resistance, the French deep state, basically. And it also talked about how Macron is attacking him for pulling out of Syria right now. And some weird things happening to some of France's military after they sang the song where a guy collapsed. I showed that, and then we started digging into how they were attacking him over the "poor me" tweet in detail. And then we get into this decode here where they have a BBC article where they talk about this tweet. They skip 3 and all of a sudden bring this tweet, but they don't comment on it in the article. The article is about the Fed, and you can see here about the Fed, and so the way SB2 decodes this is that, why would they do that? It was a deep state message to Trump that we basically can crash the economy anytime we want to. We control it, just like they did back in February of 2018, where they made the market drop exactly to 666 points, right? A signal to POTUS they control the market. Signal, threat, question marks, right? Is it welcome to the global war, Q. So this global war, the French people want the Viva la Resistance, want Trump dead. You've got them wanting to say that they can control the economy and that Trump's not going to be able to restructure it, but he is going to do it, I believe. And then we talked about this other decode, which took another tweet from December 24th based on the timestamp. They think it points to this, at least SB2 thinks it points to this 1232 timestamp, 1232 drop, and you take the capital letters in there, it can translate to "poor me," just like his tweet did. So it's kind of two connections. Connection 1 is the "poor me," that is similar to the Q turning into and connected with these letters in this 1232. And then the second connection, obviously, is the fact that you're pointing to this, and then that means a Moab is coming, because a part of that was a Moab. So that's where we were just talking about, what could this Moab be, right? And so, thank you, Mr. President. This was yet another extremely challenging and entertaining way to connect to Q. Next, you analyze Q 1232 and understand the maestro, that's always Trump, right, is basically telling you to get ready because a Moab is incoming. Hey, so far so good, guys. We got green connection, so hopefully the rebooting the router and having Virtual Shield up that combination usually works extremely well. Normally don't have this problem, so we'll maybe make a habit of just rebooting the router before each time I go live. And then you look at here. Here's him looking at next. You analyze and understand the Maestro is basically telling you to get ready because of Moab is incoming. So that's interesting. I hate to set people's expectations, but SB2's doing it. He's basically saying, hey, based on this Moab incoming, and he's pointing back to Moab, Utah, saying that it's pointing to Huber. So he thinks that this is pointing to Huber this time. And what is a Moab? We know that it's the mother of all bombs. Do you know where this bomb comes from? You did not know Moab was in Utah? Here's the link. And you can actually have a link and actually see if I can actually find that for you. It's actually pretty cool. Moab, Utah, right? It says 2 national parks, 1 destination. Watch Moab 4K. So here's a whole site on Moab, Utah. I've driven through this several times. As my wife is originally from the Salt Lake area, or at least went to school near there, and so I've been there quite a bit of times. And so anyway, Moab is a beautiful place by the 4 corners there, just gorgeous down in there in the southern Utah. But anyway, now, who is from Utah? Bingo! Our trusted and awaited John Huber. You thought he was out of the game because he did not show up when expected? Think again. Q. 1122. Trust Huber. Q. I am sure at this point you want to know what this mother of all bombs is about. Are you on edge? So it's the real target of the tweet, capital letters. And you look at that all the capital letters of that tweet would actually come to 101. Same value as she's on edge. And we know she is the witch. And all this is about hunting her. Yes, the witch hunt. Before I tell you more about this Moab, let's make a quick pause and understand what is really going on here. There are negotiations behind the scenes with Dems about the border wall, but we all know there is a parallel acceleration with Huber, D-Class, and that the Maestro is closing on the deep state, Hussein, HRC, and other angry Democrats. I also told you about what was silently happening in Gitmo. Now, do you think all these targeted people would let the remote-controlled, soon-to-be Speaker Pelosi and Sacred Schumer negotiate with Trump without bringing their fate to the table? The problem is they did not have any leverage. The wall? You thought Trump needed the Dems to fund it? No, this is already largely taken care of. It's right here. And we know that because of the Army Corps of Engineers and even a tweet that he has here where he's very clearly saying the wall is different than the $25 billion. This is a December 24th tweet. The complete wall will be built with the shutdown money plus funds already in hand. The reporting has been inaccurate on the point. The problem is, without the wall, much of the rest of the dollars are wasted. So that's kind of interesting there. The shutdown and government paralysis. Why do you think the Maestro tweeted this? So he later tweeted this saying, some of the many bills that I am signing into the Oval Office right now canceled my trip on Air Force One to Florida while we wait to see if the Democrats will help us to protect America's southern border. That's interesting, isn't it? The accompanying picture is for us to know we already secure all his priorities to sustain a long government shutdown if need be. Now you know why the Maestro keeps repeating all this. May take very long. He gathered enough stamina for the marathon. Look at Q2502. If you click on that, you'll see this right here. It says border security equals national security. Fiscal year 2019 defense spending bill. So there's a whole link to the whole Department of Defense in the budget overview, budget reconciliation. And another link there. It says, what if the House fails prior to majority change? What vested authority does the Constitution grant a sitting president regarding matters of national security? Thank you, Mr. Soros. Q. So all that mess they made at the border is going to allow him to use the military budget as a national emergency to be able to fund the wall. That's what that was all about. We've talked about that in the past, right? This drop is the reason Trump made public his meeting with Pelosi and Schumer. It was a trap, and they happily went in with their feet together. They gave him all he needed to illustrate he wanted to negotiate with people who did not want to. Then, knowing he could use his superpowers if the House fails prior to the majority change, what do you think would be his primary negotiating target? Yes, failure to reach an agreement. How do you achieve this? By asking things you are certain the Dems can never give, because doing otherwise would be self-destruction. How about it? If you happens to get them. And this is a messed up sentence. I'm not sure exactly what SB2 meant by this because he has two ifs. It says, how about if you happen to get them? You throw an extra party. Zugzwag, and that's that whole thing that they're in a bad position. They lose either way, so they have to make a bad mood, right? You've got him trapped. So he feels that he has Nancy Pelosi in the deep state as well as Chuck Schumer in the deep state in a big, Zugzwang. And it says, this is about the maestros froze the negotiations with Dems who now have to pass the ever-moving hurdle of government shutdown before they can get to enjoy the majority change. As I'm trying to play with my background there. Proof everything is under control. He trolls them by tweeting about being in the White House, waiting for them while he is in reality getting ready to fly to Iraq with FLOTUS. Ha ha ha, he says. Yeah, somebody saying martial law will be implemented due to the sealed indictments. DJ saying, I've heard this so much lately, even Mark Taylor has mentioned it. Yeah, I agree, but I think it could be a ways off, guys. I think we got to be a little careful here, set our expectations. I don't think any big arrests are going to be made until they can't walk down the street. You've heard me say that many times, and they're not there yet at all. I think this is all just about D-class, and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and to say that martial law and a bunch of arrests are going to be happening here shortly, I don't think that we're there yet. But anyway, SB2, that's why I'm reading this to you guys, because there's different points of view I want you to understand, right? When the deep state and co realized that they were played, they needed to make a move to get Trump to negotiate. Hence the Christmas Eve stock market plunge, and Trump informed us what it really was about through his poor me tweet. Clear? He's asking. Now, what is this incoming Moab that seems to be so bloody it causes them to be willing to destroy the entire economy? The answer is in the previous tweet's timestamp, the 12/23. Brewing coffee, for those who noticed the timestamp difference, was 9, which is I, and 9 means 8 and 10, which is HJ, John Huber. So he's basically taking the timestamps of these, and the difference is 9, and that 9 minutes he's taking, it can be also be looking as 8 and comma 10, which is he's thinking is John Huber. Okay. Going to Q1223, we learned Q has all the communications made by Hussein, HRC, Loretta Lynch, and others through their private accounts. Notice how Q1223 and Q1232 are particular elements of the drop sequence, starting with Q1217 and ending with Q1234. I encourage you to thoroughly study the sequence. It has all the spicy doozies about the Clinton campaign and foundation and how they used to operate, from the recruitment and payment of fake news media operators and the distribution of their pharmaceutical industry, to the EU deposits feeding trust funds for children, to the private accounts used by Hussein, HRC, Loretta Lynch, and the others to run the shop. This thread has it all. By talking about serious reconstruction financed by Saudi Arabia, and in this tweet, the maestro is illustrating the general idea of transactions through a proxy, and is specifically pointing at the vegetation found in the Middle East. Q1228. Look at those palm trees. Q. In the next drop, Q1229, we learn that there was a heavy gunfire at the Saudi King Palace in Yemen, and that the treasure trove of secret Saudi official documents has been secured. Hello, Eric. You know these documents are mainly about the Clinton Foundation, right? It's right here. And Anon actually said, Q, where are the children? Seriously, where are the children? And in Q392, he said 3,000 plus saved by the raids in Saudi Arabia alone. Worldwide lanes shut down. Bottom to top. Haiti, Red Cross classified high priority Q. Then, so that you know the Moab acts like a cluster bomb. Now I'm going to play this. He's got a video. It's a little 4 or 5 minute video. Really cool video showing how these bombs are incredibly sophisticated. There's like 7 different things before they hit the ground, and when they hit the ground they come into a cluster and they literally go toward the tanks, etc., that they're going after. Amazing technology there. But it says, Q says this, Q1233, they will lose black vote once Haiti revealed. Did you notice the Red Cross cluster? And just in case you need more clusters, here is the deadly Australian connection. Q906, reread regarding Australia. Australia donations to Clinton Foundation. Why is this relevant? The more you know. This is big. Q. So what do you think? The Moab is pretty lethal, right? Q2604. Huber will bring severe pain to DC. Q. So I know it's a long SB2 decode, basically coming down to this poor me really being about a message the deep state sending that they were crashing the market, right? That's what they do for fun, right? Is they crash the market. So anyway, we'll keep on rolling here to a bunch of other QAnon related news. Get to a prophecy, and here we have. We saw the Macron stuff there. Hey, well, also want to know, one of my sponsors here is ricksnaturaloil.com. They have the new hemp oil that, I mean, not new, it's been around for thousands of years, has one of the best plants that absorbs most of the 100% of the nutrients, right? And it's just got now, as you know, the Farm Bill made it legal in all 50 states. They can't keep you from not having it now. And man, I cannot believe the comments. Just go look at my comments on the yesterday's video and see how many people talked about how this oil has helped them. It's the biggest testimony is the subscribers themselves saying how this oil has helped them, right? I take it myself. I've telling you about pets and how it helps them. We're giving it to our cat right now that has kidney failure, based on my sister-in-law saying you've got to do it. She loves cats and she's here with us for Christmas, and she's saying you've got to give it to him because this other cat, a friend of hers had a cat that was supposed to die within weeks. It lasted 5 years, but for humans it's awesome as well. You can get huge discounts here. If you can also use, make sure you use Blessed 20, and you get a 20% discount on a lot of this stuff. Blessed 20, going to again ricksnaturaloil.com. ricksnaturaloil.com. You can actually chat with somebody to get more details. There's a bunch of reviews here. You can get different flavors of the hemp oil. Again, I wasn't even allowed to say hemp oil. There's other terms I still can't use, but you won't get high with this. This is just the non high part, if you will, that'll allow you to just get the nutrients. And it's really been incredibly beneficial. Again, go look at the comments down below this video or the one from yesterday, and you'll see the awesome results of this oil. ricksnaturaloil.com. Go check it out and grab yourself some. Here is my chat group that I've started, where I'm going to have 50 people that are actually just on a chat group that can talk to me during the day and kind of help me with articles, give me advice, etc. And I've got, I think, 26 or so in there now, and I'm going to hold it at 50. But they're sending me articles. This is something they sent me here, which is kind of scary. Is about Pence, because I like Pence. I think he's a patriot. If you go to here and actually look at the players right here, you go to players, it's going to show Pence as a patriot. But there is evidence to show otherwise, and this is it's an article all the way back from January of this year, talking about Mark Pence and Pam Bondi and how they're actually bucking this executive order on February 9th about the presidential executive order on enforcing federal law with respect to transnational criminal organizations and preventing international trafficking. So you can read through here. So I'm not convinced yet, but there is some evidence. Obviously, the fact that his wife got one of the envelopes at the funeral was a huge game changer for me, and rethinking that Pence might not be the wonderful man that I was hoping he was. Here's another one that was sent to me by my chat group. A memoranda of the presidential on 9/11, time for truth, false flag, deep state truth, update 9, criminal grand jury is on. So we think we've learned about that. This was 7/7 though. They were talking about this, and a lot of details in here that are interesting about this. Really, this whole 9/11 thing. I think the truth's going to come out, and Trump's saying he's going to make it. He is going to have it come out. So SB2 is sending me his stuff, so that's why I know exactly when he's released that. SB2, if you're listening, thanks for doing that. I do appreciate the insights there. Here we have Trump savages Federal Reserve as stock plunge worsens. This is that article that we were talking about, the SB2 just analyzed, showing how it's talking about Federal Reserve and the stock market. That's all it's talking about. And then all of a sudden he puts in this poor me. They put this, and they don't even talk about the tweet, but they put it in the article, right? That's what that was all about, which is kind of bizarre if you really think about it. And then you look at here, it says Giuliani calls for Mueller to be investigated for destruction of FBI evidence. He's saying this is worse than what Lincoln did. What Watergate and Nixon did during the Watergate scandal when they deleted some of the 19 seconds or whatever out the video, right? And so Rudy's really attacking here hard, and just the fact that they took the Strzok and the Page text messages and actually destroyed them. I wouldn't be surprised if we have it all. We have to find them later, but it's interesting gamesmanship going on here. Again, I go to vote.co, voat.co. There's a lot of discussion about this, some new things about the trying to keep free speech open. A lot of shills are coming on, etc. But if you have time and want to go to vote.co and get an account, I really help get your voting power so you can vote things up that are really true and downvote all the shills, right? We need everybody's help there that has some time. Trump did not expose covert SEAL team in Iraq, says Special Forces vets. So the fake news media trying to make Trump look bad at every turn. Here it is, being by Zero Hedge is denouncing that and showing that, nah, sorry guys. Here's this person, Anon, saying, if Q wasn't real, Trump wouldn't have let us grow into what it has, right? He wouldn't have, there's no way he would have. And so you can say all the proofs regarding POTUS confirming Q are coincidence or people misreading them. He pointed to my Q shirt, and a picture came in the mail, signed plus, etc. Truthfully, that stuff could be coincidence or fake, but it is impossible for me to believe he's never heard about Q. Knowing what you know about him, do you really think he would let something like this take over a large portion of his base without calling it out? If he wasn't in on it, he would have trashed it months ago. Good point. Just another proof of real smart anons and what they're thinking about it. So this gun owner rights bill becomes Ohio law after legislature overrode the Kasich vote. So I think that's great. So Kasich basically vetoes it, and they override it. So Second Amendment victory there, despite Kasich's veto. Trump train insinuated Michelle is a man, and this is interesting. Now this is not Trump. This is some other account called Trump Train, but says Melania Trump and Michelle Obama aren't even at the same level. Melania tops Michelle in almost every aspect. So nice to have a classy woman, all in capital letters, as our first lady again, insinuating that our last first lady wasn't a real lady. And I don't know if you listen to this Kevin Spacey thing, but it's just bizarre. And they have and he was holding this royal cup. And so what this person's saying is that this whole big long thing, you can read it all here, you can listen to it here. It says in that long tirade that he went on, that actually was, it was called Let Me Be Frank. He is holding a royal mug this was a threat to the British Royals elites, that if he goes down, he's taking them all down with him. I'm going, yeah, that would be great if you want to take them down, right? In my opinion. Good. Here's yesterday's POTUS flight article from WAPO. And can't remember why I had this up here. This might be the whole, a bunch of stuff from Incarcerated ET was doing this. There was one particular one I wanted to show you that. Oh yeah, this was it. And so this was looking for info on call sign RCH358, because I just saw an anon posting marking the claim that the call sign RCH358, that was a secret code they used for Air Force One on this surprise trip, was POTUS' way of telling anons that HRC was served. So if you go look at the decode here, you'll see it's talking about that code, and if you decode that down, they basically take the HRC, the RCH is HRC, and the 358 is the code for being basically served. So that's real interesting. You can see how it's pretty easier to get RCH is HRC, and 358 being the code for serving somebody. So that was pretty interesting. I was going, woo, yeah, hope so. Here is, I'm down to 14% battery. It looks like it got unplugged. I plugged it in, so it just got bumped a second. That's quite frustrating. I'm going to need to get an extension there, obviously. It turned my whole machine. Just can't quite reach that far. I'll get an extension for that puppy. Thank you guys for letting me have sponsors, etc., because I can do stuff like this, right? Get the proper equipment in here. I'm probably going to have to go buy a new router, it looks like, or get my company to go do that. It looks like it's charging up fine now. This is POTUS schedule. This is interesting, too. Thursday, the 27th today, right? It's talking about this Air Force base. He's meeting with 5, I guess, or 6 senior officers aboard AF-1. So nothing to see here. I'm sure they just discuss golf and grandkids. So when he leaves Germany, he's meeting with 6 senior officers aboard Air Force One. So something's going on with this trip. Interesting. Trump's economy spawns great holiday shopping numbers, and news can't bury it, and the Fed can't stop it. People have jobs now. It's really that simple. Yeah, so when people with new jobs, that's why the holiday season turned out to give some great numbers. This economy is still extremely strong despite the Fed trying to reduce the money supply and doing everything they can to stop it. Look at this background of General Flynn. Light, and he changed it to this. Believe in American exceptionalism. It's for real. New York Times best-selling author. Field of Flight. Read it. Stand for American principles and values. There's the light. Dark to light from General Flynn himself. That's kind of exciting. His background continues to change, and it means something. Where was the media outrage when 18 migrants died in the custody under the Obama administration? So the media, this fake news, Mockingbird media, trying to make Trump look bad at all times, is basically talking bad about this, about the fact that this one child got killed, and that is sad. But they didn't say anything about the 18 migrants that died in custody under the Obama administration. Nope, that fake news media is only after the person that's trying to take the deep state down, showing that the Mockingbird media is deep state. I know some things on the news today. This person was just listening to the news, and they basically didn't say former President Obama. They're still calling him President Obama. The news is psychologically addressing him as a president. This is disinformation, and even Fox News is spreading. Little things make all the difference. Just picking up on some little innuendos to brainwash people with. Who else notices these behaviors? Or if any of these are subtle to others. This is another example. I mean, the fake news media, once you're woken up to it, it's like so obvious, right? Here's Sheila Jackson Lee quietly introduces a bill to block taxpayer money from the building the wall. So you probably saw the almost $18 million now raised by people like me and you, right? I donated to it. and they're trying to block it. And then it's not going to work. Why? Because Jesus himself picked you for president. That's what I believe. All the forces of darkness cannot stop what God has ordained. Isaiah 14:27. Pray for our president and share. So there's a great meme for you there that I'll connect in my show notes. They're supposed to be my new website. I got attacked and completely torn apart and lost all my show notes from October to December. We'll be back up and running. I had to basically redo the whole website. The backups weren't done like they should have been done, and just sad stuff. So I'm putting a lot more money in the proper backups and the proper security, so I won't get hacked as bad as I did last time. So we'll just let you know that I wanted to appreciate you guys. Let me have sponsors. Your support on Patreon, etc., is allowing me to keep on rolling and getting much more secure, so I can protect ourselves from the deep state as we go forward. Right. Here's the Daily Caller article. It says Sarah Sanders shares video of troops cheering Trump. It's pretty cool to see that Sarah Sanders is being bold. Is that not cool? That is. I mean, the military is behind Trump. This is like, you just think of the rallies and the military and how they love, and everybody's saying USA again. Oh my goodness! And look at this. We the people funding the wall. I'm gonna refresh it here. Look, it's all the way to $17.7 million right now. $17.7 million, and 291,680 people have donated to this wall. And what do you have Sheila Jackson doing? Trying to block it. That just shows you these are enemies of the people. True enemies of the people. And it's just sad. It's really sad is what it is. Hey, Letty Connect, go follow her on Twitter. She just always has some good things, like what we just talked about there. But she's got a must-read thread here. She's talking about on the history of border security funding. And that I think you would really enjoy if you have time to go dig into that. Look at this. This is another one I wanted to show you this. This is in plain view. Will the sheep finally wake up? The U.S. Army tweets about pizza MRE. Coincidence? Pizzagate is real, folks. Hashtag these people are sick. And here's it is. The U.S. Army soldiers put on a new and it's pizza MRE to the test. What's your favorite MRE? Know your military, right? So the fact that you have the Department of Defense from in the U.S. Army doing these type of things shows you that there's something going on, much more than people think. I think. Hey, there's riots. There's still a lot of discussion about this, about the 93 cities that Soros is looking at. Riots loom as food stamp cash will run out by end of January if government shutdown continues. Now, it's interesting. I don't think it's going to last this long, but it is. We just got to be prepared for everything. That's why Trump had in September the National Preparedness Month, right? If I go back to Q and I look at 10 Days of Darkness, for instance. So if you just go to this little thing here, you can go to the 10 days. If I can type correctly, 10 days. And you search on 10 days and filter on it. And then you go Control F again, right? And switch and search on 10 days again. It didn't search for me. Come on, puppy. How come you didn't do that for me? There it goes. Look at this. Clock started 10 days. Q. I was talking about it at this point in time, but I'm looking for another one. And this is the one where he's talking about the shutdown. Look at this. This is the one. 282. You look at December 6th, and this is interesting because Anon says, I have a question. The 10 days of darkness, when? And Q answered it, shutdown. So could that be government shutdown? And could this be the 10 days? And we're in, I think, day 6 of it right now. So I'm hoping it's not to the end of January. But SB2 is alluding to, hey, if the new Congress doesn't come in, right? So, but anyway, the fact that rights might be looming, it's a whole preparedness. It's why I'm doing people like Bob to help you with your investments, doing people like Noble Gold so you can invest in gold and silver, like the silver coins for the Trump coin. And another one of my sponsors is just preparewithrick.com. This is Patriot Supply. They do a great job with food. Those of you who have gotten this, have eaten this, have said it's awesome. Again, you should have at least 30 days of food for each person in your family. And again, preparewithrick.com. These things have up to 25-year shelf life. They're in these resealable Mylar pouches. They come in an awesome tote. All this food, you can see it's 1,500 calories a day. If you go with 4 weeks, it gives you more calories a day. And get 92 servings for this 2-week supply with a big discount. I was way down to $75 for a 2-week supply of food with the tote bag and everything, and the resealable pouches, as well as going to the 4-week supply of food. Again, preparewithrick.com. You also with waterwithrick.com if you want the water filter. But this is the one I really think everybody needs to have, is a preparewithrick.com. Make sure you have water bottles if you don't have a method, etc. Somebody's saying patreon.com is a monthly donation method, or clicking on the $ under chat for a one-time donation to Blessed Teach, says Pro American. Okay, I saw that there. But anyway, really do appreciate everybody. This is like, obviously I'm being attacked on my router. I got a pretty good thing here. The website was completely hacked and destroyed. It is back up and running. I don't think you can even submit your email. This should be up tomorrow, but this is how you allow me to get you the link to these show notes. I love these show notes too. I was really bummed when I lost all these, but you can just see they render really nicely. This is my one all the way back from September 30th, where oh geez, see, I didn't even restore all that back. So it's just really, these are really messed up, but they'll be really nice going forward, as you know, those of you who have seen it. Those are really nice. But I do have my book recommendations. All my videos you can get here. You'll be able to sign up for the list. You'll also have my backup sites here on Blessed Teach 2 and Blessed Teach 3. I've lost all my stuff to talk about real video and everything, so they're going back through everything, and basically I'm rebuilding the site for a second time, and it's a bummer that I'm having to do that, but that's just the way things happen sometimes. Hey, and then let's get into a prophecy real quick, and we'll wrap this puppy up. We got Mark Taylor here on swordrescue.com, a little 2-paragraph one. And he's saying on Full Circle, he names this one. You can find, again, SORD, rescue.com. Make sure you go SORD without the W to get to all his 22 prophecies, right? This one was done, again, in 2016 before the election. He's saying, the Spirit God says, Russia. That's right, Russia. I will use Russia and the United States of America and her allies to take on the Fourth Reich called ISIS. For it's come full circle again. That's right, again. The New World Order is trying to rise and take its place, just like they did in World War II, using the Nazis. They will try again using ISIS. For this plague is spreading, but not for long, for they will be wiped out for their wrongs. For just as in World War II, America and her allies came in from the west and Russia from the east, so shall it again to slay this so-called beast, and it will be brought down to the least. Some will say, why would I use Russia? Am I not the God of the cosmos? I will use anyone and any nation I choose, whether some like it or not. I will not be put into a box. The Spirit of God says, the ties that were severed between America and Russia will begin to mend, and they will take on the so-called Goliath, and with one stone shall slay it and all those that are behind it. For it is not just ISIS they will fight, but the elite, the globalist, and the Illuminati, who will be exposed by my light. For they are an enemy to the world and my agenda. They shall fall with a mighty blow. For they wear their flag as if it were a prayer shawl. so they will be taken down with my shock and awe. For freedom and liberty will begin to ring, and the people will begin to sing as healing and light come from my wings. My people rejoice and shout, for my gospel is coming and will go through all the earth, and all the nations will know this is why my America was birthed. Exciting things there. Just to think that he wrote this before the election. People didn't even think Trump would be elected. And the things are gonna, and that Russia was used to eliminate ISIS. That pretty much happened. That's pretty much, to me, a fulfilled prophecy up here. And then he's talking about, hey, he's not only fighting ISIS, he's also fighting the elite, the globalists, and Illuminati, who we're seeing come out right now, and they're being exposed by their downfall of their symbolism, right? So to me, this is like, wow. Mark was doing this several years before things actually happened. He was on top of it, so I really believe God was speaking to him. Just amazing to me. And I always usually add a scripture at the end of this, and since I don't have that, I'm just going to come here. And again, I use scripturetyper.com. You can type Scripture Typer on any of your apps, and right here you can see Make Bible Memory Easy. And it's a little bit, the interface isn't that awesome, but it really works well once you get used to it. And you can see this person has, you can add your own verses and your own versions that you love, and then you can go through and actually review them. And it's just an awesome thing I do all the time. So I just go up to review, and you'll see I'm probably behind. Look at all these down. I'm 7 days behind on my Bible memory. That's usually I'm not that bad, but you can see I have these 66 things. So Galatians 5:22 and 23 is an example, and you first just type it all out, and then you memorize every other word, and then you memorize every other word, the opposite words, first the even, then the odd words, and then you master it, right? And so right here, let me test my masters, because the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, which I think they go forbearance now, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Galatians 5:22 and 23. So that was my memory. I was 90% accurate because I mistyped those three things at the beginning, right? And I didn't have the but I passed it because I have it set at 90%. Right, but a great way to do Bible memory, and then I could go on to the next one, or I could just retry it to see if I can beat 90%. So remember, there's a but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Galatians 5:22 and 23. But you can see how it helps you so much. And there I got 97% that time. And so I got 2 points, and it adds the points up. Great way to do scripture memory. And so again, I just wanted to kind of emphasize Galatians 5:22 to 23. When the Spirit comes in you, what are you going to have? You're going to have the fruit of the Spirit. And then you're going to have love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and self-control. How cool is that? And against all those things, there's no law, because it's all about love and peace, and it's awesome, right? That's Galatians 5:22 and 23, one of my favorite 66 or 67 verses I have memorized. I hope you guys enjoy that. So let me wrap up with a prayer. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for just the blessing of my subscribers here to support me through all these issues we've had today with having to do this in 3 separate parts. Not easy. Hey, Rocky, my dog's trying to get in here. Heavenly Father, I pray you bless this time that I am able to spend with my subscribers. I pray that you'll allow us to all have great discernment, and as a community be able to help each other understand what's true and what's false. There's so much misinformation out there. There's controlled opposition now coming from all over the place, as well as the Mockingbird media and the Silicon Valley and Hollywood. Everybody is against this presence, against the truth. Lord, allow us to understand the truth better. Allow us all to come closer to the one true God and closer to our relationship with Jesus, where we pray through. Lord, thank you for this privilege of being able to talk to the one true God, the God of God, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent God. How thrilling is that, Lord? Guide us, use us. We say these in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, thanks for taking some time. I'm going to bring you guys over here a little bit just to talk to you. I think I might be live on Facebook and the other platforms as well, but just didn't have time to set all that up. But just spend a little bit of time chatting with y'all. I see Hector and Dream Hunter and Paula and Claudia and Live Resistance and Joe Sixpack. I wish I had a six-pack, Joe. Jamie and New Every and Grace. And thank you, Kathy Reddick. I do appreciate God bless you, Pastor Rick. I wish I was a pastor. I'm not very good at it. I love the Bible, though. But thank you, Kathy. For the super chat. Spud Ever, we got Where We Go When We Go All, we got Gwimbly Bear, Best of, KRB, Patricia, Regina. All right, so what's anybody want to talk about for a little bit, or any questions you guys have? We can spend just a couple minutes knocking that out. I see Regina and Justin and Best of, and Dave Patterson, KRB up there. Hello from Illinois, you're saying. Thank you for the prayer, says Best of Q. Kimberly, God bless you for all of your blessed night. Hello, Patriots from upstate New York. I love it how many people are all over. Michael Decker says, hi, Rick. How you doing, buddy? We always learn, lean on each other, and trust in Jesus. Now I know why my background kept going, because that came unplugged. There we go. Background kept trying to sleep on me. You think the arrests have started? I think they've been arresting people from all the way back in 2017 and have done deals with them. And I think the no deals is disinformation. That's my opinion. And that they have a lot of people under control and they're capturing more information just in case Obama pardoned them. So yes, I think there's been arrests going on a consistent basis as they continue to have these sealed and paneled grand juries, getting information, and they're basically getting ready for the big military tribunals is what they're getting ready for, I believe. Buffering problems. Yeah, so I'm hoping it's just regular old router problems. So I'll be rebooting my router and making sure I get a new router if need be. Christmas holidays, drink some coffee, stay up all night. Somebody says. Where is SB2 posting now? Well, he's primarily on Reddit, but he also posts the same post on to vote.co. That's where I see him. I don't do Reddit anymore after they killed our platform. So again, it's voat.co. And you can sign up for an account there. You can just read it without even signing up for an account if you'd like. Yeah, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. My Blessed to Teach thing was designed, and it still is that I get blessed when I teach because, like, for instance, I wouldn't spend the time keeping up with Q nearly as if I wasn't teaching you guys what I was learning, right? And then so I get blessed because and that's the way the Bible is too. When I trying to teach somebody the biblical concept and I have to go study it, that blesses me. So that's the cool thing we have here. So. All right, wife is calling me. I've been on here a lot longer than expected, so I am going to wrap it up there, guys. God bless you for joining and just following the truth here. Let's pray for that discernment that's going on again. But the storm is among us. This might be pointing, that tweet today on the 27th might be pointing to that tweet that says exactly that. The storm is among us. Exciting things. We looked at the SB2 Decode. We saw Lady Canuck doing some cute, cool things as well, showing us the Army, talking about Pizzagate, etc. This is the Blessed Teach Show. Your host, Rick, on December 27th. God bless you all. We'll talk to you next time.